Hey yo, it's your girl sometimes your boy Charlotte, Carolina, and I found this video. It's 10 signs that you could be a witch and that you should be into witchcraft. Which some of the signs you can find out before you fall into the occult and the allure of the great things that you can get out of it, because everything comes with its positive and negativities. But I've I've watched the video a couple of times, maybe twice, and I think that it fits me very well. So if you feel the same way, leave in the comment section. Even if it enlightens you about yourself, something you didn't know, leave that in the comment section. But most of these fit me because I did practice Tai Chi and all of that before I found the occult sciences before today. And I am a witch and everything and all greatness. So, hail Satan, and let's start this bitch.
Warning of the supposed dangers of witchcraft and what doom being a witch might bring upon you. It's through these teachings that most of the masses stay away in fear of anything remotely related to the occult. And though this stigma has maintained its grip even in recent years, there has been specific individuals that feel drawn to the forbidden knowledge and power that lie in this hidden realm. Hey everyone, Edge of Nightfall here, and in this video I'm going to go over 7 reasons why you might actually be a witch and not even realize it. These are things many people who walk this path have said to have experienced prior to becoming witches themselves, and a lot of these things are what I too have experienced in my own life on my journey. These points I'll be making come from my background as someone who's gone from growing up religious to being a full-on occult practitioner, and more specifically, a witch. So this might be a little bit different than some of the other videos put out there on this topic. But nevertheless, I feel like these are very important points that a lot of people can relate to, especially for those of you out there who are coming from the church. So before we begin, let's define what is a witch exactly. There are a lot of misconceptions out there as to what being a real witch actually is, primarily due to fictional writings and religious misconceptions. But in this video, I'm going to give you my personal definition. A witch in the real world is someone who obviously studies the art of witchcraft, which is essentially the art of causing change to occur in one's own reality, using various mental and energetic techniques to do so. And a witch, like a shaman would, tunes into the energetic frequency of nature and utilizes those various frequencies to enhance their magic. Now, in fictional writings, the term witch is a title given almost exclusively to female practitioners, while a male practitioner is said to either be a warlock or a wizard, or something along those lines depending on the story. But the term witch in today's modern occultism can refer to both male and female practitioners. And while that may seem weird to someone who's not quite familiar with the occult, it's something that I, as well as many others, think is very fitting for the real-world witchcraft community. I don't know why, but the term witch just seems like a really badass title for men as well, despite its exclusive usage in fictional works. So with that all out of the way, let's get into the first reason. Number 1. You research all things occult even though you might have been warned not to. Secret societies, energy work, spells, and things of the like are all things that are typically forbidden by many groups. But rather than heed these warnings, this fascination is what consumes your every waking thought, and is what you continually research when you have free time. Sometimes it can be difficult to pinpoint what exactly your true passion actually is, and it's especially difficult if your passion is the occult because of the way society constantly frowns upon it. But if you're brutally honest with yourself, you know that everything occult is your true passion. In fact, you don't feel like your true self without it. It plays a crucial part of your life and you can't quite get it out of your head. I remember growing up in the church, I was repeatedly warned to never look up anything online that had anything to do with the occult, as it would supposedly lure me in over time. Well, I guess they were right about that one, because over time I couldn't resist but look up things about the various occult traditions, how spells worked, and various methods of divination, and things of the like. All the various aspects of this hidden world were things I just couldn't get my mind off of. And as a result, I eventually gave in. Reason number 2. There is a spiritual topic or group of spiritual topics that fascinate you. Among spiritual and mythological concepts that absolutely fascinate you, you have a particular fascination with a specific topic or several topics when it comes to spirituality. This could also be a certain fascination with a religious concept as well. For me personally, it was the concept of the war in heaven found in the Bible. There was something about it I just couldn't get out of my mind. I was always fascinated by the duality of this event that's depicted so heavily in the Bible and in church. Something about it just stuck out to me. I was again intrigued by the duality of it, and as I grew up out of religion, I wondered what that event might have meant on a symbolic and spiritual level. And as I've grown in my path, I've come to the realization that this fascination of mine is playing and will play a huge role in my future occult work. A well-known occultist by the name of Aleister Crowley was heavily influenced by his childhood fascination with the beast 666 mentioned in the book of Revelation. This fascination would go on to influence various aspects of his occult work, and the title The Beast 666 was actually a name that he was infamously known for during the latter years of his career. And the same concept may apply to you if you have a certain fascination with a spiritual topic and are not quite sure why. Something about a topic or several topics deeply resonate with you, and you might have a feeling that these fascinations might grow into something even bigger down the road on your path. Also, as a side note, if you are fascinated by multiple aspects of similar paths, or even very different paths, there's a good chance that as time goes on, you'll discover how these various aspects intersect, and you might even be able to create a whole new aspect or tradition of magic with it. Number 3. You gravitate towards the energy arts. During my teenage years, I was extremely passionate about the martial arts. And while it still is a huge passion of mine, the older I got from my teen years, the more I became fascinated with these mystical arts found in the martial arts, concepts that have to do with chi or ki energy. I realized I became more fascinated with the energy aspect of the arts rather than just the physical. So much so that I began to have the desire to look into as many energy systems as I could to see what I could find. You might also find that you yourself have this fascination as well. You might be currently involved in things like Tai Chi or yoga, or may just look into different energy channeling techniques in your spare time. It's also quite common for occultists like myself to have studied the martial arts before they got into the occult, and some of them actually practice both at the same time.
Damn monetization of people's videos.
Hi, I'm Beatrice Blake, and I make stories with color.
Number 4. The occult is just straight up calling to you. You have days where everything that has to do remotely with magic, whether fictional or not, just calls to you. There might even be random days where thoughts of the occult and witchcraft pop into your head for seemingly no reason at all. And then later on that day, you might see a documentary on TV about witchcraft or the paranormal. And random things like this happen all throughout your day, to the point to where the occult is just straight up on your mind constantly. The urge to start looking into this field just gets heavier and heavier until you eventually just give in and start studying yourself. This can also feel like an external sensation, like something else is just calling you to this path. There's a deep yearning to follow this path, even if you have restrictions that prevent you from doing so. But despite this, it still genuinely feels like something else is calling you to do this. Number 5. You feel like the darkness is calling to you. So one of my spiritual pet peeves is the growing trend of the saying love and light and the whole namaste stuff. While there's nothing inherently wrong with that stuff and being in tune with those energies, I've noticed people who embrace this lighter aspect of energy tend to be afraid of, or even completely shun anything remotely dark. Now, I don't consider myself to be that dark of a person per se, but darker energy definitely plays a big role in my personal spirituality. While darker energy isn't evil, there is a primal and chaotic nature to it, and this primal energy can be used to yield some very positive spiritual results. The darkness is what has called me before I was in the occult, and it's what has consistently remained in my path ever since. Before I even became an occultist, there would be times at night where I would feel a calling towards everything dark and mysterious. I would take walks consistently in my neighborhood night after night, either alone with just my thoughts or listening to music, that over the course of my teen years naturally grew into music more in line with my occult fascinations. Even without the music, though, there was a genuine sense of the darkness all around me, almost as if something was watching me. Not someone, but something, rather, like some kind of essence around me at all times. Even in recent years, I've had this repeat, but on a much larger scale. The feeling is a bit hard to describe, but it's almost like in fantasy stories where they refer to the trees having the ability to watch the people in their world. Kind of like that, as weird as it sounds. You feel a type of real energy in the darkness. You feel like something is communicating with you, drawing you towards this forbidden practice. It's a bizarre feeling, but also quite a beautiful experience at the same time. If you feel this sensation at night, or even when it's simply gloomy outside, or during the hours of twilight, you might in fact have a calling to witchcraft. Pay attention to these moments, as this could not only be an indication of the strong connection you have to the different phases of nature, but also the subtle energies around you. Number 6, you have a fascination with how the universe truly works underneath the surface. You have a general sense that there is an underlying system of how the universe works, and you are obsessed to find out what that is. Because of this, you might have a fascination with the various esoteric systems, such as traditional Western astrology or numerology, or even another kind of universal system. In addition to these, this is why the occult fascinates you. The mechanics of the various manifestation systems, such as spellcasting, also fascinate you. This fascination leaves you wanting a deeper understanding of the way things work, and you are not satisfied by the mundane explanations of how events unfold. You want a deeper understanding of how reality works. And finally, number 7, life to you is all about the process of self-transformation. You notice that people around you only focus on the mere mundane aspects of life, but you feel that the purpose of life is so much more than that. Everything to you somehow relates to the philosophical understanding of the universe and how things really work. Everything to you somehow relates to a philosophical understanding of life and its core principles, and how we change and evolve as people. For you, pondering about the deeper aspects of life never ceases. This might be so much the case that you literally find things like small talk to be a bit exhausting like I do. I don't mean to sound pretentious, but I constantly find myself thinking about the subjects like philosophy, psychology, metaphysics, and magic. If I go for a long period of time without having the chance to ponder these things, I get really bored really quickly. And to an extent, some people seem to think about these things as well, but usually only on a surface level. Talking to people about these things can sometimes feel like you're talking to someone a lot younger than you, to someone who just doesn't quite get it. And as rude as that sounds, the reason why that is not because you and I are better than anyone else, but because they are just not on the same path as us. This is what distinguishes us as practitioners of magic. It doesn't make us better than anyone else, just different. And so, in conclusion to this video, these are things I feel if any of you out there might be experiencing, might in fact indicate a calling to the occult arts, and you might not even realize it. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Also, if you enjoy the content I put out,
So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. And that's why I'm a cultist and I practice Wiccan and all that great stuff about me. But that's a little bit of the reasons why. So happy holidays to you, everybody. You know